They're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Peace and quiet of the Madison family home is about to come to an end, and the Bavarian horde of relatives are about to come sweeping in like a level 5 tsunami. This ought to be fun.
What kind of toilet paper you got?
Hey, welcome to Be Your Own Hollywood. My name is Joel Paul Reisig. I'm an actual working movie producer. I want to teach you about the business of the film business. Including both film finance and distribution. Start by just taking a look at the video that I've got on this homepage. When you're done, flip around the pages. I'll meet you inside.
By the way, I think I already have the intro. I'm pretty sure that I'm just gonna take his "Hi, welcome to my website" and put that in.
Welcome to my web zone.
So I think that we just
I was fucking dying.
We just go right into it.
I was fucking dying at that.
Well, welcome to Rough Cuts. I'm your host, Ilian, and this is my wonderful co-host, Boix. And we've been nailing it recently. This is our podcast about bad dog movies, where we watch a terrible dog film and then immediately talk about it. And we've gotten some terrible dog films recently.
It's been the gift that keeps on giving. It really is giving season.
It is.
Because the dog minds keep giving.
I feel like I'm about to be given an aneurysm.
I already have one. I don't know what you mean.
Don't let it.
Oh
don't let it kill you like Grandpa.
Okay, you can't joke about a real person dying.
I can if they do. Why did they do that?
By the way, even though all of us didn't make it this
Jesus
year.
Christ. Why would they do that? Alright, one of our actors died. One of our actors died in the middle of filming. What'll we do? Make it a joke! What?
Okay, first of all, this movie's called A Dog for Christmas.
Okay.
Or
is it? Or is it?
Because the movie is also called Christmas Staycation when they couldn't sell it to kids as A Dog for Christmas. So they rebranded and repackaged the film as the funniest movie since National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
An actual quote.
And
was it?
I guess is it though? Is it? And repackaging films to try and sell them is not in itself unusual, I'd say, in the industry.
Sure. At least in this end
but it
of
is
it,
a massive. It is a massive red flag for a movie that is released on streaming services.
It's a massive red flag for
trick you into watching
movie,
something.
I think, to rebrand itself this entirely from a children's family dog movie into a adult-themed,
specifically a movie for adults
National
now.
Lampoon thing.
Yeah.
Like, that is not like a little shift. That's, It's about as big a shift as the volume in this movie.
This movie has so many problems.
You forgot to open the flue!
What?
You forgot to open the flue!
This is literally just Midwest winter stuff.
Okay, yeah, this has to be all the family. But there's no context for it. Like, when they do that in, like, Lampoon, they...
What?
They, like...
What?
Fucking hell. God damn it. God damn it.
This is another one of those films that's really interesting to dissect and really awful to watch. It's not quite like an advanced level B movie. It's not a 200 class.
No, yeah. No, this is... You only need a
But-
2-day seminar to do these movies.
This is at least a 2-day 100 class seminar that costs thousands of dollars, maximum 6 people. And we're in these two towns.
Also, we might come to your area if you ask.
If you pay
Okay,
us.
so we should mention what we're talking about with that. This is from producer Joel Paul Reisig, who I ended up looking up in the middle of this film, at which point I started going, oh no, oh god, oh no, oh god, no, god, no, no, throughout the rest of the movie.
Well, he's a producer, a director, a writer, an
actor,
a scam artist, an actor.
That's
My
why
bad.
well,
Sorry, I missed
yeah,
some in the
actors just
middle.
lie professionally.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
He's a grifter, a right-wing grifter, I assume.
Based on the testimonials on his website are all from Kevin Sorbo and Dean Cain for the movies.
Tara Reid, I think, was one too.
For all the movies that he's been helping produce with them, like Trafficked, A Parent's Worst Nightmare, and, you know, all the movies that they star in, like Obamagate, The Conspiracy, and
the gay conversion, My Mom Has Cancer movie. Great.
So, he has a website called BeYourOwnHollywood.com, where he advertises his seminars that may come to a town at some point, because it has no dates and no towns, but maybe he can go there, I guess, and then he...
This website feels like a joke. It feels like a Tim and Eric skit, or
It really does.
or a fucking Hypnospace Outlaw
Yes.
joke about the old internet.
Yeah, because it has a pop-up of him. He pops up from the bottom of your web screen like a spooky ghost and just goes,
The
hey,
jump
would
scare
you like to join my web zone? You too can be a part of my web ring if you just come to my seminar. Oh, it's surreal how bad it is.
It's like the Paul Rudd sketch of, like, show me Tane, computer. Show
Yes,
me naked
like
Tane dancing,
It's like
please.
he's Tane in the computer. Yes, he's that character. He's that. But it's like just him in like a green screen, so that it's like a PNG, basically, like a transparent background. It wouldn't be a PNG; it'd be an empty. But anyway, like transparent video of him just monologuing at you, and it's over top of all of his website, including the page where he also has an ad for his services on YouTube, so that they can both play at the same time and
They
clash
both play at the same time,
horribly.
interrupting each other.
Hey, welcome to Be Your Own
Imagine
Hollywood.
that you can make
My
money
name is
making
Joel
movies.
Paul Reisig.
Imagine that
I'm an
you
actual
can make
working movie
kinds
producer.
of films
I want to
that
teach you about
distributors
the
and sales
business
agents
of the
buy.
film business.
Producer Joel Paul
including
Reisig does
both
just
film
that, and
finance
he can teach you
and
how to do it too,
distribution.
all while avoiding
Start by
the
just
pitfalls
taking a
that
look
keep
at the
most
video that
filmmakers
I've got on
from
this
ever making a
homepage.
profit
When you're
or
done,
getting their films
flip around the
seen.
page.
Film schools
On
are
the
basically
inside.
going to teach you the right way to do things, and I am hopefully this weekend going to teach you the wrong way to do things, because that's how actual producers actually get things done.
Yeah,
And you know,
it's great.
he can do all the services that you need for your movie, like not raise money. He will not raise money for fuck you. He won't do that. That's not his job. He will, however, write, act, direct, anything else that you want.
I'll also handle your budgeting, which I will not
Oh, right,
give you
he
money
won't raise
for.
money. Yes,
but
but he'll handle the budgeting.
You have to pay
Yes.
me, but I'll do the budgeting.
But yeah, you can pay him to write your film, so he can write sentences like, 2 days in my film school will teach you funding, distribution, and the business of the film business.
Isn't the point of a producer to help produce and pay
Well,
for a
but
film
he's
to
not
be
just
made?
that. He's gonna be your own Hollywood. He's all of it. He'll do everything. Not raise money. He won't raise your money. I'm not raising your fucking money! Sorry, he does that all over the website.
Isn't that what a producer is,
Yes,
though?
that is
How can he call
literally
himself
it.
a producer if he won't fund your film? That's the whole goddamn point.
Yeah. But he won't do it.
Anyway, he's been doing this. He's been doing this for 15 years. What other jobs has he done? Well, anyways, I'm an independent filmmaker for 15 years.
I never went.
And you could tell the quality's there, right? Like, we could tell immediately that he was an independent.
Yeah, I did. I was just gonna read the first sentence of his like, I never went to film school. I learned from doing.
That's the best part. He's like, hey, I'm just a guy. I don't know fucking anything. I never went to film school.
I'm just a
Hire me."
regular guy like you. I wanted to be a producer, and I was willing to put in the work.
Just a full-on grifter. Oh, man. They didn't even write a script, really.
No, it doesn't feel like
A lot
it.
of this movie feels like improv.
Well, he credits
But-
all of the stories. Remember?
He credits the people that he got ideas from, which is to say, he heard someone tell a story, and then he very lazily retold it, but got the parts that would make sense wrong.
Yes, but also, like, okay, for example, one of the things at the end, he goes, I'd like to credit, oh god, I can't even remember who it was, for his hilarious spilling wine at the in-laws house story. And
Sure, somebody in his family or something.
it was,
yeah.
what's the story?
That somebody bumped him in the back and he spilt wine. That's the story.
That's the whole
And
story and the whole scene.
That's all that happens. Yeah. And I'd like to thank my dad for putting a board under my tire.
Yes,
Thanks.
that's in the credits, and that's part of the movie. They have a whole scene of him putting a board under the tire so that they can get the car out of snow, which is just a thing you do. That's just...
I'd like to thank my hilarious friend for telling me the story about how he paid somebody, well, he hired somebody to shovel his driveway, but couldn't pay them in cash because all he had was a check. So they had to go to the bank, and he rode with them to the bank, but he doesn't know how an ATM works, and he also doesn't know his PIN number. So they had to go to the store and buy groceries, and it was very funny. Because he couldn't write a
Your
check.
friend's a moron, and he doesn't want anybody to know this story because he makes him look like an idiot, which he is.
But the grocery store took a check.
I was
'Cause
gonna
he
say,
paid
yeah.
the grocery store with the check, and that does happen in some Midwest towns. And by the way, that's a thing we
yes.
should talk about.
Michigan?
This movie is shot on location.
In where? In Michigan?
In Grand
In
Rapids, Michigan.
You think it's in Michigan?
From all of us here at Rockford, Michigan, Merry Christmas. And to all, a good night.
And they constantly mention Michigan. All their stories are from people in Michigan. They got permission to film in somebody's house.
Yes. Which is the entirety of the movie, basically.
Which they did not pay for. That's the important part.
That's part of the seminar that he'll teach you. Ask your friends if you can use their house.
How... They didn't shoot any locations in Michigan. Maybe the ice rink, maybe the dog park. But they didn't tell anybody in the
they did
dog
not
park
tell
they were
anybody.
shooting for a
Yeah.
film. They were just people standing around being like, oh, what are they doing over
they're
there?
very obvious, like, confused looks like, those people, do they have a camera? Like, what are they doing?
And it's so weird. If I was from Grand Rapids, maybe I could tell some of the locations they shot. And my theory is this was shot for an independent film festival in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Something like that.
And this was supposed to be just pandering to everybody in Grand Rapids.
He definitely somehow got, like, funding from the city. There was some art grant or something like that. Like, I don't know for sure if it was a film festival in particular, but he scammed the city of... Sorry, he negotiated a deal with...
Allegedly.
with Grand Rapids and Rockport.
I think it was Rockford, Michigan.
Yeah, there was another. Yeah,
one of those.
To have an art grant of some kind.
And this isn't that unusual.
I mean, hey, that's fine.
We know another independent Michigan filmmaker
who's much better, much better.
Who's much better, and that's the Dogman series. Who we liked so much we emailed and asked for T-shirts they had left over that were just sitting in a box in the back of their warehouse for 10 years, aging. and then we
I
purchased
will
them.
say, to be fair, I don't think he's a great filmmaker either. He's just one of my favorites.
But he's better than
he's
this.
way better than this. Yeah,
He's better than this.
It is much more interesting than this. He's more interesting than this because this is just lazy garbage.
This is telephone, is what this is. This isn't writing. This is somebody told me a story and I'm retelling that story, but I didn't write a script to follow that story.
And yeah, like there's no in something like, for example, because this has been done. Like you were like, oh, this is just him telling stories about Christmas, and I'm like who does that? And like A Christmas Story, and they did it well because
but that's a better movie.
Because they tie it into a plot, right?
Correct.
What they do is they use it as a framework. They make a framework around it to tell a bunch of Christmas stories, but then still have an overarching plot about the whole thing. This one has nothing.
Because you can't just have a movie that's just stories with nothing in it.
As it turns out.
It's called a French vignette film, which is smoking causes coughing. I know, but you also need. We can't all be French vignette.
This is why he got an art grant.
Films.
Because it's art, boys. This is art.
Is this movie art? Is it art? Is it? I don't think this is art.
I would argue that it is. It's just bad art. Just because it's bad art doesn't mean it's not art. That being said, it is like kids doing Crayola drawings, but also selling it to a city.
It's
art.
like finger paint watercolors art.
Embarrassing.
I don't know. Because there's no interconnection to any of the tales. No. It opens on just bickering in a car and then complaining about a very funny driveway parking scene, which is based on a true story of being mad about trying to park on a driveway.
Yes. It's just a road rage incident of him like smashing his car against another person's car for a parking spot, supposedly in a parking lot, but they're very obviously just in a driveway because they didn't have permission to shoot in a parking lot. And then
but at the end they thank them for the very funny, hilarious driveway.
I don't know if that was a reference to that or if it was a reference to like the shoveling later though, because that was a driveway thing.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's no like, because it just says for the driveway story. There's like a bunch of driveways in the movie. What was the story? Like, this is the thing. He's thanking people for stories that make up his movie. And we can't even tell what the story he's thanking them for is. Because they're so vague and stupid. They don't make any...
Is it just plagiarism? Did he just steal their story? Or did they give it to him to specifically use? Like, did he just say thanks at the end of the credits and that's enough for the tale?
Is it plagiarism if the story is just... Yeah, I went over to my in-laws' house and I accidentally spilled wine on their carpet.
If it's so basic, it's so
that is literally because that's literally that story. That's literally that story. Yeah. That's the hilarious wine spilling story as he described it.
What about the hilarious story about your British neighbor who says that your whole family is gonna fall victim to Darwinism?
He's right.
And then he slips on the ice on your front step and dies horribly off screen.
And he laughs at him for it.
And then says, this is why Americans hate the fucking Brits and
slams the door in his face. After, that's because the neighbor came over because they broke his window.
Yeah. But is that a story somebody told him? Did they write that? I don't think any part of this is original.
If it's a story that somebody told him... Stories, God, it's so hard to describe them as that. That sounds like such an exaggeration for what these are.
Things happening on screen.
I don't know. But anyway, if any of them are even vaguely true, they're all monsters. They're all the worst people imaginable.
As a Midwesterner during the holidays. No, yeah, that's right. That sounds about accurate.
So, okay, the movie starts on the hilarious parking road rage, where he's too cheap to pay for like the $1.50 to park in the parking lot, and so instead he makes his family go to a driveway, I guess, I don't know, and parks and then smashes his car into another car, which definitely is cheaper. That's so much cheaper. fixing your entire bumper and everything is way cheaper. And then that's just the opening scene of the movie. You never see the other family again. They had like a whole other family in the other car, and they were like talking and doing all this stuff. So you're like, oh, these are characters.
Why did they set up this character if they weren't going to
and
be
then they're
in
not in the film, so they're nobody. And you don't know who's... Like, I didn't know who we were following at first. I thought, like, oh, are we going to follow this family that he cheated out of the parking spot and smashed his car? Or are we following these people? And then it...
Wait, you're thinking about a movie?
Yeah, like, yeah.
So if this was a movie, they would set up characters, and then those characters would keep coming up as somebody that this family, like, takes advantage of or screws over in some way until the end.
Like his characters, like, okay, here, actually, let me just ask you a quick question. Since we got introduced at the very beginning to his entire family, it's Dave, who we do know the name of, his wife, and his daughter. Can you name the wife and daughter? Because I sure fucking can't.
Mom Madison, daughter Madison, Grandpa Madison.
We know Grandpa Madison. He's the one that died that they made a joke about. Oh.
He's fucking dead. For real. Not a joke.
I can't believe they did that. But then it just immediately goes,
I don't know their names.
And that's what I mean. Like, there's nothing to characterize these people.
I think all the women characters in this movie are an afterthought.
Oh, for sure.
Is what I'm gonna put out. Just put out there. Even the girl who's like the main driving force in theory of the original story about a dog for Christmas, because she's constantly saying, "I want a dog. I want a dog." Do you think Santa's real? Do you think he'll give me a dog?
But she said it like 5 times throughout this whole film.
5's a lot. And anytime she's on screen, she's asking somebody for a dog.
Yeah, anytime she's on screen. The 5 times that she is as the main driving force and title of this movie.
There's one time she's on screen not asking for a dog, and it's when she's staring into the abyss, incredibly depressed at her father's office Christmas party.
As a man goes,
while an old guy is standing next to her talking about stocks.
Chips. The blue chips are the good stocks. I make lots of money on
the blue chips. Real good at the stock
You should invest in this thing. It's called crypto. I think that my wife really likes it. I got an exchange that you'd probably be really into.
If this wasn't 2015, it would have been all in on Bitcoin.
Except that they're making fun of him, so I think that these people definitely have to be grifters in on it, right? Like, this dude would have been super into it.
They have to be. So that might be the only funny scene that I thought was funny adjacent. Funny adjacent, because the situation is not funny. But there's that problem. I don't know. But there's so many characters.
So they introduce the family.
None of them matter.
I just want to let's go to the movie a little bit, because I want to just explain things. Just even how the beginning opens up, I think it shows the whole problem with the whole movie. Because we get that opening skating scene, and then he fights a dude at the rink. Well,
every scene in the movie starts with bickering, fighting, fighting. Bickering,
like fighting. He's just skating and some dude's like, "Hey, asshole," for no reason. So then he runs over to the dude and like fucking flying tackles him on the ice rink, and they just have a fight. That's the joke. That's funny.
The scene.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And then what happens is we then cut from that to scenes of road rage. It's just like
with no
6
context.
Different cars. With characters that don't introduce themselves, don't say anything. At first I thought that it was... Because the one was this woman going, "Are you just going to let them cut you off? Are you going to do that? You should just tell that guy... You should honk your horn. Why aren't you doing this?" And like yelling at the guy that's driving. And then it cut to an old...
Her husband, yeah.
Well, we don't even know that. It's just guy in the car. And then we get this other older man... going like, lay off me, asshole, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, are these 2 people that are driving, like, beside each other and they're mad at each other? And then we cut to a third car, and there's another, "I'll turn this car around." And they just do that over and over. There's no, like, we're going to gyms for Christmas. Oh, well, guys, you need to behave. We're heading over there. Like
if you were making a
Yes.
movie, let me posit this to you. If you were making a movie and you were introducing a family, what I would do, I'm not a filmmaker, but I should be.
It turns out you too could be one.
I want to teach you about the business of the film business.
What I would do is I would have somebody narrating this family, my uncle, my grandpa. And then as you're narrating, it would show them driving. And you could fix this scene without reshooting, technically, by just having a narration introducing
That would
them.
be a way to fix it. There's a lot of ways that you could do it. Because, like, he's talking about, like, the kids in the back. Like, and he's saying, like, oh, you don't stop fighting, I'll turn this car around in one of these little vignettes. And it's like, turn the car around from where? Just say... When are we getting to Uncle Dave's? I want to go to Uncle Dave's. Like, and it's like, we'll be there soon. Stop fighting or I'll turn this car around. That immediately lets you know, oh, they're related to Dave, the main character.
But instead, they're just yelling at
no
themselves.
Context. And it just cuts between them.
And then, like a horror movie, a bunch of noise shows up at the front door.
Yes.
And then the door opens, and it gets even fucking louder to the point where it's drowning out every noise, and even our own conversation that we're having about the film, to the point where we have to lower the volume.
I don't know that I've ever been in a movie with you before where we've had to sit there and constantly adjust the volume from 80% to 20% to 80% to 20% to 80% to 20%, like every 5 minutes.
Maybe the intent was to give us a headache. To feel the migraine of your family visiting for the holidays. Like, an art film. Films aren't supposed to hurt you, but this film should.
Yeah. You know, maybe this is an art grant from the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan, allegedly.
It's very experimental filmmaking, where the experiment is to harm you, the audience.
Yeah, it really makes you feel like you're at home for the holidays with your horrible Midwest family that you hate.
That you hate entirely and never want to be around.
And then
Michigan.
So then the rest of this movie is just that. It's these disjointed vignettes with no context, and there's no overarching plot at all. There's just nothing that ties any of it together at all. It's just this family's holiday. Here are bits and pieces of it, and then the movie ends. That's it.
Let's talk about some things that don't make sense in this vignette film. The teenager who really believes in Santa Claus.
That's real weird. It's really, really weird.
But none of his 6-year-old cousins do.
And you're thinking, oh, he's playing it up to, trick the kids so that, like, he wants to help them. Which is a thing that I did when I was, like, 14 or whatever, and I knew that Santa wasn't real, but you had, like, cousins over who are 6. You're like, oh, no, Santa's coming. You guys better be good. No, this kid's like, no, see, look, I'll do a science experiment and show you.
I guess.
Like, I'm going to go down the chimney.
The whole movie is him proving to his cousins that Santa's real because, look, I can do it. That means Santa can do it because he's better than me. I guess. What is this even? Who wrote this?
No one.
Why? It's not a human
The person
being.
who wrote this said, I will teach you the business of film business as a real fucking sentence.
I guess. There's our main character husband who takes a nap nude.
Yeah. Well,
for some reason in bed, while his family's there, and he's mad that he can't sleep naked in his bed midday because he has to go shovel snow.
Well, all the women do, that pathetic stuff they have to do in the kitchen.
Women
I don't
things.
know. Okay. I kind of want to talk about the women for a second, just the overarching thing with the women, because.
Yeah.
I could not believe that it didn't resolve any of this. So he wants to take a nap. His wife is like, no, listen, you have to do anything today. Your family's over here.
You have to literally just help.
You're sleeping nude upstairs. Well, your family is downstairs. And I'm cooking all of Christmas dinner and all the cookies. And the women cook throughout the entire movie. That's all they do. They're only in the kitchen. That is the entirety of their movie.
To the point where their husbands don't know anything about their wives, that they can only give them oven gloves as Christmas presents.
As a joke.
Because they literally know nothing other than that they're the women that cook.
Correct. And so he's taking a nap, and she's like, please go out and do anything. You just shovel the walk, please. Then you can come back in and nap. So he goes out and pays someone else to do it for him, and then goes back upstairs and naps. And then he gets offended after he does that and does all of that work, and he's like, oh, I worked so hard. Where's my fucking lunch? And goes into the kitchen and yells at all of the women who are there working incessantly to try and make him his Christmas dinner and all of the desserts.
Because they won't make him lunch.
They're like, we're busy. We're not making you lunch. So he, like a man-child, grabs fistfuls of raw ingredients and shoves them in his fucking gaping maw. And then he's like, fine, I'll just go out and buy lunch because all you bitches won't help me.
In a tantrum. Yeah, in a
Our
tantrum.
main character. Our hero. So then, like you said, then they buy all the wives oven mitts for Christmas because they don't oven mitts and aprons, which the apron was made by one of the other women, sewn up for another woman. And the husband goes, well, I picked out the fabric, and is like really offended.
I did the work.
She doesn't credit him as doing all the work. And they're playing this up as like these guys are assholes. Because it kind of seems like it knows that to an extent that it's bad. Because they finish eating too at Christmas, and they're like, wow, that was real good food. Anyway, you guys clean up, and they get up and then they start drinking.
All the guys
and
leave
all the women look at each other like, what the fuck? I can't believe we have to do this too. And then it shows them washing all the dishes. And there's nothing. That's like the last scene with the women in it. They don't ever...
No. There's another scene where they're bitter at their husbands when they're opening gifts the next day, I think, too.
Oh, is that... The gift scene might be after that, yeah. Where they're getting the oven mitts.
Yeah, because they're also bitter at them at that moment for not doing anything.
What I mean is, though, then you're like, okay, there's going to be a big moment where he has to turn around because she catches him that he lied about doing all the work for the...
There should be some sort of repercussions for their actions, right?
Yeah, you would think that, okay, this is going to lead into some tension. They're going to have a fight, and it's going to be the true spirit of Christmas. He's got to apologize to his wife. He bought her a thoughtful present, etc., etc. And that's like goes for all of them. No,
but it doesn't.
There's
nothing.
Happens. No. There's no repercussions for any of it. There's nothing. The film just fucking ends.
In fact, she gets so mad at him, she tells him to sleep on the couch. Which he's like, but it's going to hurt my back. And then he doesn't sleep on the couch because then the next morning they wake up in bed together and he thinks that she's propositioning him for sex after his drunken night of playing with Nerf guns downstairs with the boys.
Till like 3 a.m. or something as they're loudly screaming, shooting guns, playing with all their kids' presents, and leaving their elderly father stranded on the roof, desperately banging for help.
Do you think that's what killed the actor? Like, did that actually do it? Did they leave him up there for real and then wrote it into the story?
Why did they bring it up in the movie that he died?
Why'd they bring it up at all?
And it's done in a voice. Also, Richard Karn's in this movie. As Santa, as literal Santa, but he's only available in monologue scenes as voiceover narration to tie the stories together. And he does a thing at the end where he's like, thanks to the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan for helping us film this. Also, we're sorry that all the family didn't make it. Goodbye!
We're sorry one of us died.
Like, what the fuck?
But there's no context at that moment as to who died.
We were like, wait, what?
So
did
you're not sure
someone
if it's a
die?
joke?
Like,
did somebody die off screen? What happened?
why would you mention that in your movie? Why would you do that?
Richard Karn, by the way, he's real Santa, but he's also Salvation Army Santa. And somebody throws money in the Salvation Army bin, and they can go fuck themselves.
Well, but then Dustin Diamond comes along to steal it, and that's cool.
Yeah, why is Dustin Diamond here?
He needs a paycheck. He really needs a paycheck. Him and Richard Karn are desperate for money.
What the fuck was his character even? What was his point? Why was he here?
That is true of every single character in this movie, Boykes. There's no plot and no morals. There's nothing. This is the most nothing movie we've ever seen.
When the dad goes to the Chinese restaurant for racism reasons.
It is extremely racist, by the way.
And he can't get in to sit.
Because he's a single person.
Random couple.
Because, who goes...
Because he's a single person.
Yeah.
But this couple that's been sitting there waiting, is like, oh, you can come sit with us and eat. That's fine. Which is great.
That's fine. That's nice.
This is a good thing. And then as they're eating, they start talking about how those two have just been dating. Her and Dustin fucking Diamond.
That jump scared the fuck out of you.
Fucking Screech
wait a minute. Is that Dustin Diamond? Wait, is Dustin Diamond? Dustin Diamond is here? And you're just like, you just lost your mind for 30 seconds. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's him.
It's because I started joking about it being Dustin Diamond.
And I was like, that's because it's Dustin Diamond.
And then I started looking up pictures of Dustin Diamond in modern day. I'm like, is that fucking Dustin Diamond?
Dustin Diamond, as it turns out.
It's like that time I saw Triple H. I'm like, is that Triple H?
Yes.
What's happening?
It was Triple H. But they talk about how they moved in together, and they're like, oh yeah, we met a week.
They moved in after a week.
And our main character does the right thing and goes, oh, so you guys fucking?
You guys having sex with each other? Which Screech gets mad about.
Gee, I wonder why.
And then Screech leaves in a rage, and then comes back and is like, I'm sorry. It's just that I just got back from the war and I have PTSD. And also I'm broke.
Yep.
So really it's my fault.
That you are this weird dude who went to a restaurant alone while your family is having Christmas and didn't realize that if the restaurant was the only restaurant in town open, which everybody says, and that's why there's an hours long wait to get in for lunch, which if it's already hours long, wouldn't you just go home and have the Christmas dinner? Anyway, and he could just make himself a lunch. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but he...
Right, but he's a prick.
So,
yeah.
Why would you not realize if there's an hours-long wait at the only restaurant open that they will not seat singles? That's, I've never been in a restaurant.
It's because they needed the scene where they were playing Kung Fu Fighting while they were entering. And then the waitress comes up and very racistly says that she will not seat him.
Yeah.
That's because, Chinese restaurant.
But, I'm just pointing out what a fucking prick Dave is. Because he is a massive prick.
They don't do anything with Screech's character anyways with this scene, right? Because there's the girl who is drinking from a flask with, tinsel in her hair, I guess.
Yeah, they wanted to show them.
I don't know if they're trying to say she's a hippie or something. I don't know what right-wing propaganda this is supposed to be, but it feels like one of them.
It's definitely, yeah, it feels like some weird, look at how these people act.
All them poor homeless veterans with their PTSD not able to afford a meal at the Chinese restaurant.
But it hates them too. You would think that would be their audience, but it hates them.
Oh, no, they hate everybody.
Yeah.
They're
yes, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Dean Cain shows up, who is one of the people that is in all, the Obamagate movie shit and is part of this guy's group.
Well, none of those people like veterans. They like saying they like veterans. difference. So that has to be
but
it,
like what I mean
right?
is though, okay, but like that character who's the one that shovels the walk for him and then takes him downtown to go to the bank to pay them is shown as
the one who did nothing wrong.
Yes, but he's shown as a moron. Like, they specifically make fun of him for how stupid and right-wing and conspiratorial he is. Because he's going like, oh, I didn't go to no school, I don't need no schooling, because that's where they teach all the liberals how to be gay communists.
And he does say that, that's true.
And then they're like, oh, well, I owe you $120. He's like, well, you can just give me $260. And all this shit. Like, they're making fun of how stupid he is. But he is them. It's their people. He's like,
them. They don't understand.
I don't...
Yeah. They get some of the things that I'm saying, but they don't get all of it.
They just hate everybody.
Is
what this feels like. This is just like...
They hate their family. They hate veterans.
They hate their wives.
They hate the right-wingers. They hate their wives. They hate their kids.
They hate the liberals. They hate British people. They hate
the city of Grand Rapids,
They hate the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. They hate the, like, dog park people. They hate They hate snow. They hate kids because, like, they show kids pouring water on steps to make people trip and fall. They hate
their neighbors.
They hate the neighbor because he's... like well-to-do, like he's basically he's just sitting there having like a nice evening and
I'm not entirely sure they hate the Grand Rapids, Michigan Fire Department, but I'm pretty sure they do.
Like it's just every single person that they show on screen for any amount of time, if it's more than 10 seconds, they're like, look at what a fucking asshole this person is, eh? And you're like, oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out it might be the Arnold Schwarzenegger Turbo Time. What is that? It's the Jingle All the Way.
Yes, okay, sure.
Jingle All the Way. Like in Jingle All the Way, Arnold Schwarzenegger and this other guy are fighting over a toy.
Isn't it Sinbad in Jingle All the Way?
Yeah,
Sinbad,
I think it's Sinbad. I think it's Sinbad. And he gives them. He's like, you can just have it. It's fine. But then they hold a grudge, and now they're constantly meeting each other and constantly having to deal with each other to the point where they just fucking hate each other until they find somebody they can hate together. Like, there's a scene there. And I feel like they're trying to do that a little bit with Dustin Diamond Screech, because he shows back up later. He's like, oh, hey, what's up, bro? We're friends now. I tried calling you like 100 times, and I'm a creepy stalker now, and we're going to be friends, and I'll take you to the bowling league. And also, let's go shoot some people in the petting zoo.
I got some guns in my car.
I don't think... I think Screech just showed up on set and asked the actors to go to a petting zoo so he could shoot them. I don't think that was a...
I would shoot everybody involved in this movie.
But I think they were trying to do that, oh, they hate each other, so they're just going to keep showing up until they find somebody to hate together, and then they grow together as real friends near the end. Right? But they just didn't do anything. And Screech just never shows up again after being a creepy stalker, right?
I think you're giving too much credit.
There's so many half-baked ideas, I think. I think they had ideas, and then they stopped caring halfway for a lot of them.
I feel like his...
Why was Screech here? Was it community service?
I think his main goal for this movie is to teach you the business of film business.
They never showed Richard Karn's feet. Were there ankles? No, not the sexual thing. I was thinking, like, did he have a ball and chain around his ankle? And he was
they have the ankle monitors on all of them.
That's what I thought.
Like, listen, if you want Richard Karn's feet, I've got websites to show you. Like, we'll do that afterwards. I'll cut that out. I'm editing. It's okay. I'll send them to you privately. We've got the Dropbox.
I realized immediately when I said that was wrong.
Especially the movies that we watch, because that's normally a problem. Weirdly enough, that's a thing that we deal with a lot. There's a lot of foot massages that we've watched that are strangely slow in a lot of these kids' films.
Okay, anyway, the grandpa knows Santa because they're both old.
Yeah.
That's the whole reasoning.
And that's the joke. Yeah.
Santa needs to take a shit, and the dad takes over the Salvation Army station.
And where's
so
the
that
Santa
Screech
suit?
can steal from it.
Yeah.
Because Santa poops.
And that's a joke.
Canonically.
That's the joke. The joke is just, oh look, our main character is covering for a charity that's
I guess
traditionally a bunch of bastards that are homophobes, but you know.
I guess. Yeah, that's true, but
sorry, I will
the
just
fuck was
I
the
just
point
need
of
I do
any
need
of
the
this?
quick aside of fuck the Salvation Army. Just want to say that real quick.
This might be the most amount of manspreading I've seen in a film.
That part was very
like
funny.
Time wise, not volume, but
Well, I don't
a
know. We
single
need to
scene
measure
of
when
this
we
much
need to
manspreading.
we need to get some tape out and see if it's got the record.
Get
or not.
a ruler. He was spread pretty fucking wide, and there were like 3 of them in
It
the
was
same
4
scene
of them.
doing it.
It was all 4 of them were spreading.
Why not just raise the camera up? Why do you need to have it so low that we can see their fucking genitals poking out of their pants, basically?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Well, he's teaching you
The business of the film business.
Why was there a hiss on the mic?
What's that noise?
How many scenes
What's
did they?
that noise?
How many fucking scenes did they shoot on their consumer grade like camera from the camera mic? Fuck is that hiss?
Yeah, we should.
What was that?
What?
That noise
Yeah, the hiss.
I don't hear anything.
from the basement. That
Well, I can hear it.
whining, barking sound.
No, the mic. It's the mic.
No, yeah, it's
The hiss.
dude. Get a new mic.
Why didn't they put a mic on the table or lav mic people? Why didn't they do anything?
Why didn't
with
they
the
try
audio?
and edit
Why
it
is there a
and post
hiss?
to get rid of the hiss? Yeah. Well, on top of that, the funny thing about that is that it has. So there's a scene of them all sitting around a table that all of a sudden just has a. Like throughout the whole thing, that's
Yeah.
really bad and distracting. And then it cuts to another scene of the grandpa on the couch, and it's still got a little bit of the hiss, although it's lower. And then it goes back to them in the kitchen, and there's no hiss.
And it's
So,
gone
like,
again because they switched mics.
Why wouldn't they have just refilmed the scene with the great mic?
My thought is that was a reshoot.
That, yeah.
And they shot it
makes
on the
sense.
correct mic the first
Sure.
time, which is why the other
They did
scenes sound good.
You'd think they
And
did
then-
reshoots of this.
It was either a reshoot or it's like, oh shit, we didn't reach the runtime.
Okay, that I'll believe.
It's one of the two.
Did not reach the
It's
runtime. I'll
one of the
believe.
two. Like, we need to call everybody back in to the house. To Carol's house or
It
whoever.
wasn't. Oh, it was. God, it was like Nancy and somebody.
We got to call everybody back over to Nancy's house because we need to shoot another scene because the film's not long
Because
enough.
there was the carol, but the carol was the women with Santa. All of them. All of the women.
How was she all of the women?
What women were with Santa? I
Doesn't-
don't ever remember a scene where Santa was with a
Was
single
there
woman.
women with Santa? Santa was standing at a Salvation Army station outside a fucking store. There were no women there. What is happening?
Okay, so to give context really quickly to that, so Richard Karn has 10 scenes at most in this movie. And when I say scenes, I'm being very generous because what it is he is standing in front of a Salvation Army sign in the middle of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he narrates over the film with no one else there. It's just like a YouTuber monologue. Like it's just him in a tight shot.
He's not even narrating. He's recapping the last 20 minutes.
But like he's doing voiceover essentially as Santa for this movie. And then there are 2 scenes where he's in the film with the characters, where the grandpa comes up
as a person. That's
where the
actually
grandpa
there,
comes up to him and asks him for directions, and when the dad goes in and takes over for him. So there is no question in my mind that Richard Karn was there for like 3.5 hours in an afternoon in front of that sign.
Maximum.
And that's it,
Maximum.
right? Like, because he never leaves that scene.
Yeah.
He is, every single time that they have him there, like even when he interacts with the other characters, it's because they went downtown and went to that store where the Salvation Army thing is. That's it.
So if that's the case, that can't be 100% true.
Oh?
I know for a fact it's not. I know for a fact. Because if that's true, then that's the last thing they shot. Because they did everything talking about the story and everything, and if it's the last thing they shot, it has to be because he said, and although all of us didn't make it...
that's what I mean, like it's the last thing they shot.
But that can't be because he interacts with the grandpa directly. And he's fucking dead.
God,
that actor is
I can't believe
literally dead. So he couldn't have been there for 3 hours unless that actor died.
Oh my God, they just didn't stop filming. Well, boy.
Unless that actor died between those 2 scenes.
I mean...
we might be... This is like forensics.
Let's
narrowing
figure
down
the time of death of this actor. Oh, this is miserable. I hate this. I hate that we're doing this. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's rate the dog. I think we're done. We're done. I don't want to... We're not time of deathing a literal human being who didn't deserve to be in this movie and die for it. Jesus.
Anyways, the grandpa gets the daughter a dog, a husky. The parents are like, why the fuck did you get her a dog?
Did they show it?
It's a husky. Yeah, they show the husky at the end. Yeah, when all the kids are gathering, they put the dog on screen for all of 10 seconds.
I missed that. I looked away and didn't see it.
Yeah.
It is that short. Yeah.
It's a cute husky, and then it immediately cuts to like an outside scene saying, well, that's it.
Okay.
There you have it.
I think that it was way less than 10 seconds because I remember that whole scene and I don't remember them showing the dog, so I guess I blinked and missed it.
But the whole movie, in theory, is about this girl wanting a dog.
Yeah, in theory.
And the grandpa just goes out and buys a dog. And the family's like, why the fuck did you buy a dog? Never get an animal as a present.
Anyway, end of movie.
Without consulting the person. And then the movie just ends without resolving that. It's like, you have a dog now. Congratulations, fuckers.
It doesn't resolve anything. It doesn't resolve how much of a dick he is to his wife. It doesn't resolve the dog. It doesn't resolve, like...
In the ending dialogue, Santa is like, well, you think that would make him never want to have anybody over for the holidays again, but next year he brought them all back. Except for one. Anyways, see you later.
The one that's dead. Yeah. God, fuck.
Yeah, it's just like, fucking hell. This movie.
What do you mean he wouldn't want to bring anybody over? He is the biggest fucking asshole in this. By a lot. And it's a movie full of assholes.
This movie is full of characters who are like, oh, that character's kind of cool. I agree with them. 5 seconds later, fuck this character.
Yup.
Every single character in this movie is just mask on, mask off immediately. Except for one.
Yes.
There's one character who's not like that, and I don't know his name.
I don't know any character's name besides the dad.
But he's the large cousin who does nothing but eat cookies and helps the kiddos and takes them to the dog park and never says a mean thing to anyone.
Correct. He doesn't help the women, though. And he hangs out and has fun with the guys. And if you have fun with those guys, there's something real bad with you.
He doesn't actively lie to them like
That's
the other
true.
two.
That is true. I'll give you that.
He's there and he's not actively harming anyone.
That's our bar for best character in this movie. He's not actively harmful.
He's just a guy. And you could go to his seminar for the
business of the film business.
All right, yeah, let's rate the dogs, I guess. There's a bloodhound that's Earl's dog, who is the snow shovel man that has the whole grocery incident. He has a dog with him.
Right.
That dog never does anything.
He has it for like 5 seconds, yeah.
But in the scenes where they're not in the grocery store, that dog exists. It's a bloodhound.
It exists.
I guess.
It sure exists. That dog was in the movie.
There's the dog sled dogs, where the teen showing that Santa's real gets hurt and then has to get saved by the fire department. Those dogs are pretty cool. They made me feel something.
Yeah. Those are rescue dogs out of 10. There you go.
Yeah. And then there's the husky that the grandpa negligently buys for the granddaughter, gives to her during the holidays, and then doesn't apologize to the family.
And then dies
and does
immediately.
Nothing at all to resolve the situation, and then
he
dies
to get out of the problem. That's what it is. Wait, he faked his death. Grandpa's still alive. He just didn't want to deal with this dog.
I mean, it seems like a cute dog, and it's not the dog's fault that it's in this situation.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure it's a good dog. I have no problems with this dog.
I have no problems with this dog out of 10. The movie.
I guess.
Thank you for listening to Rough Cuts. We were baffled by this. This is a baffling film. It's the least film that we've ever watched. Like, and I know that we've said that before, but most of them, like, a lot of the movies that we say that about, they have, like, an inciting incident, and then they go into a bunch of montages. Like, think of Air Bud 5, the volleyball one, where it's just volleyball montages. But they have, like, 10 minutes of setup.
That had a plot
That's what I mean. Like, they have
though.
10 minutes of setup at the beginning. Like, even when they fuck up, like, that badly and it's all fill time and it's just, like, montages of volleyball teams because they don't know how to do the rest of the movie, they'll have 10 minutes of plot at the beginning where it's like, oh, we need to win the championship. And then they'll be like, okay, there's 10 minutes at the end. Quick, let's go back to the championship game. And, like, they go back to the plot and it's jarring and horrible. But there is a plot.
Even Santa's Summer Home has
right?
a plot.
Like, and that one has 15 minutes of out-of-order croquet match.
And that at least had a plot. No, I remember when we were watching this, I'm like, this isn't a movie. This is just stuff that happened in the Midwest. I know. I've lived it. I've been here.
I'm really surprised at how little movie this is.
And it shows how little they understood the stories, because, like, putting a board under the car, but you put it on the side that the wheel doesn't rotate into, like, you don't understand why you're putting the board under the wheel. Things like that, where I'm like, you heard it, but you didn't understand, and then you retold. And
I feel like there's a lot this man does not understand. I feel like there's a lot I don't understand about this man.
It's definitely not a movie. I'm just not sure.
Well,
it's something that should be studied in film school,
anyway,
is what I think it is.
Well, what I was going to say is I actually have a seminar to get to help understand this. I'm going to fly out to Washington, D.C. for a 2-day thing. There's only a few slots left, so if you want to join me, we can hurry up and get ready for that. But if you want to follow us on social media in the meantime or help us out with our podcast, you can check us out. We've got a Patreon at Rough Cuts Cast, or we are Rough Cuts on Blue Sky and co-host, or you can email us at roughcuts@gmail.com.
Yeah. Also, this movie's called Christmas Staycation.
Oh, God.
And it is not a Zoom call for an hour and 20 minutes, which is the first movie we clicked on for Christmas Staycation.
I want to watch that,
thankfully,
because I think... I do, because I want to compare, because I feel like that one's going to have more plot. I just want to see if it has more plot than this, because it's a literal Zoom movie.
We were a minute into that Zoom call, and my eyes were just
dying. Yes, yeah, it was bad. It was a literal Zoom call movie. It was
a Zoom call, but you could see they had the script in front of them on the screen, and they were reading it.
And the entire movie is just Zoom call. We noped out of it because we realized it was the wrong film and had no dog. But I'm now in.
But if it was the right film,
now
We would have
I'm now
watched it.
interested because I kind of want to know if it has less plot than this Christmas Staycation. Well, anyways, I got my whole afternoon. I'll watch that on the plane over to Washington so I can learn all about the business of film business.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a hold of Dustin Diamond and ask you if you'll be in our Zoom call.
Hey, maybe I can show it to him on the plane. He can join us for the seminar.
Just record it on the plane. It's fine. All right, see you later. Fuck. I'm sitting in my dark room brooding as usual.
Yeah. What is it, Christmas and your Midwest family's coming over?